Okay, folks, so now I have my base map, or sorry, I have my background for my base map. Now I'm ready to start adding data. So in order to start building my base map, I'm going to say add a layer, and it's giving me options here. Do I want to make a background layer? So which is what we just did, right? Or do I want to make a layer from data? So we want to make a layer from data. So we're going to click on this button to look at this point. We haven't uploaded any tile sets ourselves, but there are a bunch of default tile sets that Mapbox has inside already. And actually, you'll see a few that I have downloaded in there, but you don't need to pay attention to those. So let's add the satellite imagery. Okay, let's create that layer. Oh, and this zoom just shows you where it starts to become visible and where it stops becoming visible. So with the minimum set at 0, that means that you can see this layer even when it's zoomed all the way out. So if you had some data heavy layers and you didn't want them to be visible when you were zoomed far out, but only when you started to zoom closer, then you could change this, right? But given that this is a satellite image, there's no reason to do that. So this is just fine. Let's go ahead and create that layer. And by the way, let's zoom into Fort Wayne, kind of where I'm going to be working on this project. Okay, and then, so now you've got the satellite, and I can, notice that I can drag layers back and forth, but we don't want to put the background above the satellite image or you won't see it. So we'll keep it like that. Okay, so now we've got two layers here, right? Our background layer and our satellite image, right? And so the next thing we want to do is maybe add some features. So you can see now, as you zoom in, you've got good satellite imagery, but you don't have any labels, nothing to mark waterways, roads, anything like that. So let's add another layer. And what Mapbox has available are all of these features from something that's called OpenStreetMaps. So we can add these one at a time, each in its own layer, and style it the way we want. So let's go ahead and choose roads. So the little icon next to them tells you what kind of features are in it. So these are roads drawn as lines. Okay, so we're putting roads in there. And we know that they're lines, so we can take out the point and polygon geometries. So we will create that layer. So now we have roads. And right now they're black, and you might notice they don't show up very well. So we're in color here. And so we can set a value. So we could set this value just across the whole layer, so we can make all of the roads yellow, for example. Okay, so we could just make all the roads yellow, or In fact, let's look in the select data. So here let's see if there are any attributes associated with roads. So looks like there's a class, and whether or not it's a one-way. So the class that's an attribute that will hold a bunch of different values. So maybe it's a street, maybe it's a highway. So we've got colored whether or not it's one-ways. Looks like we've got type. So we've got class and type. So we could try coloring them according to one of those. Let's try class. And here's a bunch of other attribute data associated with it. So we're going to color according to data. We're going to select the field class. And it's not numeric, it's a string of letters because they're words. So categorical, a number of different categories. Let's see here. And then we're saying the default is black. So if there's no other class, if we haven't defined the class, then it'll just color it black. And so here we will say street because we know that's one of the classes. And we'll color streets red. Okay. So now the streets are colored red. Let's see what this is getting. So this is primary. It's primary. This is motorway. So we've got two other classes we can work with here. So let's add primary. Color those orange. Okay, then we had motorway, right? We'll color that green. Okay, and so you can see by using the different classes, right, that are within your data, you can go ahead and style your map how you want to. And so you can see it stands out, all the residential streets, or everything that's called a street, is colored in red. At least it should be. Did we lose that? Let's delete it and add it again. Add street red. So let's go to our data select. Let's call it secondary. Okay, there we go. So now we've got these secondary streets colored in red. We got the primary streets colored in orange. Motorways colored in green. We could go farther. We still got some black unclassified streets in there. So really, it would be up to the purpose of your map how you decided to style that. Okay, so let's look at something else here. So we go back. So we've got the roads. If we go back to add another layer, and this time, so we've got a bunch of different categories. We've got the water labels, waterways, which would be lines, right? Two waterway. Layers, which is interesting. So I'm going to add the water polygon because I'm guessing this is going to be things like lakes. And so you can see it show up behind here. So let's go ahead and create this layer. So now I can go in, color. Let's just color these one straight value. Let's go with dark blue. Yeah, let's go with dark blue. And let's make sure they stand out really strong. Let's give them a little bit of opacity. So they're a little bit see-through. Okay. Let's take a look at what we just did there. So now the water stands out. And so anyway, you can keep adding these type layers and styling them depending on the need that you have for your map. And you could decide that you don't want the satellite map on, right? So you can hide that. Of course, now you've got the red background, so you might want to add some other background to see what that would look like. Let's see here. So yeah, so I'll show you in the next video how to use styles from other people that have uploaded them, and so this is where this tutorial will end. All right, thanks.